Pull out your dicks, get ready to fap. It's time for your favorite show, The Grease Trap. Pull out your dicks, get ready to fap. It's time for your favorite show, Grease Trap.
Hey, everybody. Grease Trap. All right, cool. Let's do it.
Unofficial Grease Trap in 3, 2, 1.
Unofficial Grease Trap. Wait, how's it unofficial? It is the official.
Unofficial, dude. Because my version is the official version. You have the unofficial
Okay,
version.
well, and you are... I'm going to beat you to death, Scotty. You're a piece of shit.
You can try.
I'll need to try. I could probably beat you to death from where we're sitting now. I don't even need to go over there.
If you do decide to beat each other to death, can I be the big like arena announcer? You know, like that, like the fat guy in Gladiator. That's like, you know, and for your viewing pleasure tonight.
Oh, no, I definitely would want that. Of course.
Yeah, that's fine.
Scipio Africanus and his chariots of flame.
Hannibal at the gates of Rome. Yeah, or whatever whatever city it was that Hannibal went to.
That definitely would have been my job back in fucking Roman times, dude. I'm a loud motherfucker. I'd have been
yeah, for sure.
Like announcing the fights and shit.
Paul's so loud.
I am loud, dude.
Paul is loud.
If I have no doubt that if I spoke at my full capacity, I could get the cops called on me easily.
Oh yeah.
People would think I was in here murdering somebody or about to. Like it's kind of sad. Like that's been something that's been hard for me living in an apartment for a while now. Is like I can't full voice in an apartment. I got to keep my even on the show. I got to keep my voice modulated and shit. Especially when we're recording at night.
Oh yeah, dude. There's no way you're gonna fucking have people going like. You might not even get the cops called. You might get the fucking.
Yep. What the fuck are you doing in there, boy?
You knock that shit off. I'm trying to sleep down here.
People trying to sleep. Hard working people need to rest.
Oh, dude, the fucking his name was this crazy guy named Bo. And I remember like it started off with this. Like we were watching something one night. I'm like, we heard this. Like, what the fuck is that? I looked around. We'll put the movie or show back on. Pounding from below. It's like, oh, it's the neighbor. Like, okay, I guess we'll turn it down. And then after that, we started getting calls from like our landlord. Like, you guys slam the toilet seat like too hard. We're like, what? Do you slam the toilet seat too hard? I don't know. I guess who knows. We have been a lot of complaints from Bo down below. You had slam that toilet seat awful hard. Watch movies far too loud. Making a lot of noise.
Making a lot of noise, slamming that toilet seat way too loud.
So it began like that, and it started like a few months like after we lived there. Like at first, it didn't really matter.
You know, our cooler neighbor was the one across the fucking the hall from us.
Dude?
The porn guy.
Yeah, there's some short little like 5'5" Louisiana dude, probably like in his mid 50s, late 50s, just like, yeah, I fix shit around here.
And just constantly watching porn in his apartment, loud as fuck. We asked about Bo downstairs. He's like, "Oh, him. He gets mad. He gets mad if a mouse farts. Don't worry about him."
Oh yeah, he also complained about the loud music on the street, as if the landlord could somehow be like,
"Shh, quiet music on the street." Oh yeah, he also complained to the landlord about cars going by too loud. You know, like people like having engines and shit.
Like, what is a landlord supposed to do?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like
in an apartment complex.
Right. It's like this dude, if this dude's this concerned about this shit, he needs to go like live out in the country or something and fucking get earplugs and I don't even know. Probably somebody bitching like, why am I hearing all these damn crickets?
But the crescendo of it all was like, TJ, you guys trying to watch like Nostalgia Critic or some shit, right?
Yeah, it was me and Galen up there. We're watching Nostalgia Critic, like super early Nostalgia Critic, because this is like years and years ago. And we're watching it, and we start hearing him banging on the fucking roof, his roof, our floor with his broom or whatever. And we're like, all right, fuck, Jesus Christ. We turn it down a little bit. We're still sitting there watching it. And then all of a sudden, we're still hearing it. Like, goddamn, how fucking low. We're turned down so low we can literally barely fucking hear it ourselves. Like, we're now struggling to hear it. We're just like, what's he saying? hello, I'm the nostalgia critic. I remember it, so you don't have to. And we're like, it's like that low. And the dude's still like,
make a peep.
And it's like, God damn it, what the fuck? I can't turn it any fucking lower, dipshit. Like, fuck you.
And Paul,
the next thing we know, we hear fucking.
I'm playing Diablo 2 online. Then suddenly it's like boom, 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 and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I like look at the people and I just see it's like our neighbor. I'm like, okay. And like, so I open the door and it's like, you motherfucker, you gonna turn your shit down, I'll beat the shit out, I'll do this, I'll fucking kill you, blah, blah, blah. Like, he just starts going on this like unhinged rant. I'm like, all right, go ahead and do it. And he just stands there and it's like, ah! And he turns around, starts walking downstairs. I'm like, if you really have a problem, why don't you just call the authorities, dude? And then they can deal with it. You're going to regret that. I will call them. All right, go ahead. So then I got to wait like 30 minutes. Like, you're going to knock about 30, 45 minutes later. What if the cops name it? What's blah, blah, with the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office. So what's going on tonight? I'm like, my neighbor below me is insane. He complains about every noise that happens in this apartment complex. I was watching a movie, and he went insane and started pounding on basically the floor or the ceiling. He then came up here and threatened me, threatened to kill me, threatened to beat my ass, threatened to do everything under the sun. I don't know what his problem is. I have no problem with him. I just want to watch the movie and just live here. I don't even get what his issue is. The cop's like, okay, I'll go talk to him. And he's like, the cop comes up to me, yeah, just try to keep the noise down here. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try to keep the noise down. And we pretty much did the rest because we don't want any more problems with this fucking dude. And you might think that's the end of it because we really made a conscious effort after that. Like, TJ's watching in the living room. I don't care. Just like, let's just not do anything near these fucking bedrooms where this guy lives. And it seemed to be fine for a while. But then we had the disaster of fucking TJ and his ex-wife Holly moving out. Okay, Paul, so we're gonna move to a house. I pack all my shit up, pack all this kitchen shit up. I really don't go in their room. Like they had their own window unit, which they never wanted the door open. Like, don't let the hot in. Don't let the hot in. Day of the move comes. I'm like every late a week, a couple weeks out. You guys are packing, right, TJ? Yeah, we're packing. Week before, like, TJ, you packing like your shit up, right? We're packing. A few days before, like, TJ, and like, look, if you've neglected it, it's okay, but like, you've really got to pack. It's packed. It's packed, and I'm packing now. All right. Day of the move comes. Everything's pretty much out besides TJ shit. I open TJ's room, nothing's been packed. And it's just like a fucking heap of shit everywhere. I'm like, you didn't fucking pack, you son of a bitch. Why the fuck didn't you pack? No, I did pack. There's like one box that's packed. I'm like, dude, you can't pack one fucking box and say you packed. So, Paul, we're having to fucking move this shit. Like, the U-Haul gets there like 10 o'clock, and we were fucking moving almost all night because he didn't pack a fucking thing of his shit.
Of course.
And he has the most shit, of course, like, because he's a fucking big materialistic kind of guy. I've got 50,000 boxes of anime and fucking comics and everything else. He hasn't packed a thing. He's got his clothes strewn about the fucking floor. So all that shit, all that stress goes on. We're giving shit away. We're doing all this shit. We're having people move shit. We're fucking hauling washers and dryers and all that shit. Getting that done. And then TJ, and it's like, was it Galen? And you were friends with Case at the time?
Yeah.
And they go back to the apartment.
The three of us went back there because there was still like a few things that were left.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, there was like still a few things left in that apartment. Like there was a couch and a few other things. We had to go we didn't have room in the truck, so we had to go back there. And it was like after midnight. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning. And we were just like, all right, let's just go in there and get these last few things. So we go up in there and we start like getting that shit out of there. And next thing we know, fucking Bo is up in there. Like, you supposed to be out! You're supposed to be out! You're supposed to be out by midnight! You're leashed in at midnight! What are you doing here? This is trespassing! This is breaking and entering! It's like,
you go to jail.
You're going to jail! I'm calling the landlord! And he calls the landlord and shit. And I'm on the phone with him, and the landlord's like, like obviously just been woken up out of a sleep, and he's like, you didn't tell me what you were, you told me you'd be out. I'm like, look, we just had a few last things to get in here. He's like, yeah, you said you'd be out. You said you'd be out. I'm like, man, fuck you, dude. There was like a few little things. What, you want me to leave it here? Because I wasn't out or didn't have 100% out by midnight? Like, I don't think it's a big deal for me to be here at fucking like 2 hours after my lease ended getting a few last things, okay? So fuck you. And I did end up leaving some stuff there, honestly. It's just like, let's just get the fuck out of here. Just fucking
deal with it.
We had a couch. Oh, that's another thing. We got that couch. We got fucked on that couch. Because some people showed up, and they're like, yeah, we want this couch.
We'll just take the cushions and the pillows now.
Yeah, they're like, we don't have the truck, we need to move it, but we'll just like take the cushions and pillows. And we're just like, it's like, what? Okay, I guess that's fine. But then they just never came back for the rest of the couch. They just took all the cushions for it, but leave us with the fucking couch.
Like, no dice, dude. But I mean, of course, we didn't give a fuck. We're gonna get rid of it anyway. So
right, so I was getting rid of it. We just left. I just ended up leaving the couch there and be like, fuck them, it's their problem.
Well, yeah, because you guys were gonna move it all, but then the fucking landlord's like, you really need to be out.
Yeah, it's like, all right, if you feel that strongly about it, you can fucking deal with this goddamn couch.
Yeah, you told them that. It's like, you can move all the shit, dumbass. Bye. Don't call me.
And that sucked too because it was Halloween. It's my favorite day of the year, and I fucking spent it moving. So lame.
That's just bad planning, TJ.
I know.
On your part.
Moving with TJ is a fucking nightmare because TJ can't like fucking pack his shit. He's not like, dude, are you unpacked fully now even?
I don't know. Probably
not. If you are, it's only because of what Chelsea did. There's no way it was you. Like, you barely ever fucking unpack box. Like, TJ have a box like for 2 years in the same spot. Like, we lived in the same house in Ohio for almost 4 years, and TJ was never fully unpacked.
Yeah.
I don't even know TJ. I think like there's just I don't
think TJ's unpacked now.
He's not. There's no way.
You still got most of your stuff packed?
I have no idea.
I don't
know. There might be some boxes somewhere. I don't fucking know.
Shit, I'm not really sure.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
I only had one like weird neighbor thing complaint happen since I've been in this apartment. And it was totally weird because it definitely wasn't me. You know what I mean? Like, I got a knock on the door at like 10 p.m. and me and Amelia were literally eating dinner and watching Jeopardy. And I get this knock on the door and I look through the peephole and it's a sheriff. And I'm like, oh, you know, what the fuck did I do? And I opened it. Yes, sir. And he's like, yeah, we got a noise complaint. And he like, as soon as the door opens, the smell of our dinner wafts and he can hear Jeopardy in the background. And I was like, from us? And he was like, yeah. Whoever called it in said they thought it was this apartment. And I was like, well, we're eating dinner and watching Jeopardy. He's like, yeah, I can see that. Did you hear anything? I was like, no. He's like, all right, sorry to bug you.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck, dude? All scream like, who is George Washington too loud? And it's like, oh, 911.
God damn, I can't take this Alex Trebek blaring in my fucking ears anymore.
I've been to your apartment, Paul, and it doesn't really seem like a place where like, I mean, I'm sure obviously you hear noise and stuff, but it doesn't really seem like it'd be super thin.
Like no, that. I mean, it's definitely not. I mean, if people are like screaming full voice in one of the apartments that's like adjacent to mine, I might hear it like faintly. And people walking up and down the stairs outside because my bedroom wall is on the same wall as the stairs. Like I can hear people going up and down the stairs. Sometimes I can hear people walking around upstairs, but like as far as like it bothering me to or being like to the point where it's out again, like I can, you know, these apartments are pretty well designed for, you know, keeping the noise down.
Ones in Bellevue, man, those were fucking nuts. I love those.
Those were just basically like little soundproof boxes.
Yeah, we did DP. Fucking had people getting drunk and wasted. No one ever gave a shit. No one even really fucking ever heard.
Dude, I went back and watched the Billy Fabe episode, or at least the highlight reel of the Billy Fabe episode. Dude, Billy was so fucking loud during that. He was screaming how he was going to kill me. And I know we were recording at like 10:30, 11 at night.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I'm going to fucking kill you, Paul. You motherfucker, come on, bitch. You know, and I'm just like, man, how did we get away with this? How did we do this show from a packed apartment building? I have no fucking clue.
Because it was in fucking Washington, dude. Like, I learned that the first night I really spent like, well, like, okay, we're going to check out the Seattle area and stuff. So we're like in Seattle. The first night I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to sleep. Wake up like 1 a.m, like, or whatever the fuck it is. Like, let me tell you another thing. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, these two drunk guys are just like throwing up and having a fight and an argument and everything. I'm like on the balcony, just like smoking weed. Like, damn, that's fucking interesting and shit. Like, they're yelling at top of the lungs. I'm like, well, I guess I'm waiting for the cops to show up. Like, and it's obvious, like, that ain't happening. Like, no one gives a fuck these guys are doing this. I'm like, wow, it's kind of just a mind your own business sort of place. Like, unless you're something like, I got a gun or something.
Yeah, I typically default to that. I had a situation like that not too long ago where me and Amelia were sitting outside after dark smoking, you know, and just chilling on our porch. And the building that's next to us, I overheard some some shit. You know what I mean? Like a man and a woman were having a fight and I heard some shit breaking and I could, I was like, at what point does this escalate to the point where I'm like, like kind of required to call this in? So I just listened for I'm going to kill you or the sounds of punching or whatever. And I never heard that. And I just kind of minded my own business.
Oh, dude. Like, I'll tell you what, that's something like, honestly, with police work and shit, that's something like the crazy, talking about cops getting killed, domestic violence, is people lose their fucking minds over relationships. Like, and there's some there's just some depraved ass fucking people in the world. Like, I've heard some stories because Taylor's mom works as a detective as far as domestic violence and stuff, because she used to want to be a social worker, so she has definitely a different approach than what you would suspect. But it's like, it's crazy. It's like you have people that are just like old people and children, dude. Often the targets of it, unfortunately, just like kids that just get like, oh, okay, well, you're 11, you can be left at home while I go off my new wife or girlfriend, shit like that, where it's like they're like, what, you left an 8-year-old and 11-year-old by themselves, basically? Like, yeah, they got food. It's like, okay.
They're good.
Just raping people they meet off Facebook and stuff. It's just crazy the shit people do. Like, there's like this 50-year-old dude who was like, he met a woman on Facebook and it was like, okay, cool. Like they hook up. It's all great. But he's also psychotic. So like, he thought she was like, even though they just met, that she was cheating on him. So he basically beat her to a pulp and threatened to kill her and was like cutting her and hitting her with a hammer and all kinds of crazy shit. And then, of course, they found out he also did that to his dad and his mom, who were too afraid to actually even say anything because they were basically afraid he was going to kill them, which he had told them he was going to.
Right.
It's like the crazy shit that gets in with like families and other stuff. It's like, you don't even know. It's like, I mean, I don't blame you for not, but the long and the short is I don't blame you for not getting involved. You don't know what the fuck is going on or what they've got or what they're going to do to you. It's like, nope. Unless I see some, I'm calling the cops. They can deal with that shit.
Crazy shit. Yeah. I wonder what percentage of the population is just like fucking off the rocker crazy, you know? Like what percent of people are just like irredeemably, hopelessly, not even just like, not like mentally ill, you know what I mean? 'Cause I'm not talking about like mental health shit. I'm talking about like people who are fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Like
people that are crazy are mentally ill.
Right. They're like there's like a Venn diagram where there's some overlap. There's people who I don't even think are mentally ill that are still fucking crazy. You know, I don't know. Maybe you still have like sociopathy or something like that. But
I mean, crazy is one of those words. Like, I don't really care that people use it, but it's one of those words that's reductive when you're talking about mental health shit.
I guess so.
There's no such thing as crazy. There's people who have varying levels of mental dysfunction. And some people are on the high end of that scale, and it comes out in a way that you would call crazy.
When I say crazy, I mean a motherfucker to stab you for looking at him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I'm talking that kind of shit. I'm talking like violent, like just like no fucking like filter or conscience. Just like, I'll stab a motherfucker. I'll shoot a motherfucker. I don't give a fuck. You look at me wrong, I kill you. I slit your throat. I don't feel nothing. You know what I mean? Like that kind of like, fuck it. I guess we don't have to use the word crazy, but like, just like unhinged. Fuck, that's basically the same word.
Like psychotic and like violent and aggressive.
Like a violent psychopath kind of fucking mentality.
Yeah, sure, I get what you're saying.
Like I wonder how many of those we got out there.
That itself is a sliding scale, yeah. Because like, you know, there are a lot of psychopaths living amongst us, and a lot of sociopaths.
And not all psychopaths are violent, though.
No.
By the way, do I say sociopath wrong?
I don't know. Do you? That sounds right.
Somebody on the subreddit made a fucking thread that was like, Paul mispronounces sociopath. And then somebody was like, how does he say it? And they wrote it out like sociopath or some shit. And I was like,
no, you don't. What? I'm sociopath.
Is that wrong? Sociopath, right?
Sociopath is right.
Sociopath.
I think you put a little bit more sh into the C than I do, but I don't think it's really wrong.
Yeah.
Because I say more like sociopath and you say more like sociopath. But that's a pretty mild difference. I don't really consider
that's like a pronunciation.
Yeah, I don't really consider that to be like wrong or anything. It's just like a slight variation.
Where you grow up in the world and like who you're around kind of informs like how your vernacular. So it's like, of course, like there's going to be like Paul's going to say a word slightly different than you or I will say a word.
Right.
Regional
dialect kind of shit can but like I've never heard Paul like flat out say sociopath wrong, where he's like sociopath or some shit, you know.
Well, maybe like, and this is pointed out to me, so we don't say eggs, we say eggs.
Eggs.
Yeah, and like no matter how many times like people are like, okay, you say it wrong, it's like That's how I say it. I'm abandoned changing that. I'm just gonna call it an egg. You know, I know it's not right, but I don't give a shit.
You know, I know I don't have like a deep Southern accent and shit, but there's definitely some Southern vernacular and Southern like pronunciation that's fucking made its way in. So
I at one point I was raised with a pretty what people would call a Southern accent. My parents both speak that way. My family all speaks that way. And so if you listen to recordings and videotapes of me as a little boy, I had a pretty strong country twang to my voice.
Even though you're a California boy.
I've definitely seen it with Paul. If Paul starts talking to someone he thinks is more down home and Southern, he'll be like, yeah, like, you know, it'll come out a little bit like, it's me, Paul.
It happens worse with my mom because it just like, I don't even notice it happening with her. But yeah, I turn it on with people because it's a good social technique. Like if you're talking to somebody who you're not real super familiar with, but you're trying to make a connection with, if you can put on that accent, it puts people that speak that way, you know, kind of at ease in a way.
Yeah, that's why I never got too mad when politicians come down south and start talking a little more Southern. I guess for a lot of them it might be more calculated, but like honestly, you could kind of naturally fall into that.
Yeah, I mean it happens, but you know, I think there's a difference. Like that's clearly.
I think it's just a matter of charitability you're willing to give somebody, and obviously we treat politicians with like maximum skepticism a lot of the time.
We do. Most people don't.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I guess most people.
Did you read the shit on that shit we uploaded? The fucking Rand Paul thing and all the little bootlicking.
Oh, I knew they were. Of course, they're gonna come out of the woodwork, dude. Especially during an election year, they're fucking all super amped up. And
what? Like, where are these people coming from? Did they see the same thing that we did?
No, they didn't.
Rand Paul did save the cop. It's like, oh my God.
Somehow this is a Rorschach test at this point, and like I don't know.
Hasn't everything political kind of become a Rorschach test at this point?
Yeah. So like now reality goes through the filter of like, what is the you know. What's my narrative? Okay, now reality must be filtered through my narrative. And in my narrative, if Rand, there's no way Rand Paul could be a cowardly little pussy in my narrative because he's a Trump guy and I'm a Trump guy. So he's got to be a tough guy.
Pussy. His neighbor like knocked his ass out, dude.
Yeah. Not only that, like in that the video just clearly shows that like none of what he said happened. He's just a 100% liar. So,
dude, did you see the actually dudes on there that were like, actually, Ron Paul passed this law or introduced this law to ban no-knock warrants, which we mentioned.
Yeah, we mentioned that several times in the video. So obviously, this is people who didn't even watch.
So it's just like people that are so they get the general gist that we're going to be yelling at Rand Paul, and rather than listening to our critiques, they just decide what it is we're going to say in the video and not say. And write like 3 paragraphs about how fucking stupid we are.
Yep, without even watching.
It's awesome. About like, you know, like, oh, you know, you guys are. It was the guy that got this house smashed in or whatever. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the landlord guy.
You know, well, don't you guys have any empathy and all this other stuff? And I was like, in my mind, I was like, well, it's not they have no empathy.
By the way, I saw a furry on Twitter.
Okay,
well, it's not really. It's him being a furry is not really relevant, but it's just kind of funny that it was a furry. But there was a side note. There was a furry on Twitter who claims to work as a maintenance guy for like apartments and stuff that said that video is like total bullshit. Like he pointed out several discrepancies and shit about like there's no way a fucking person who's just destroying their apartment would do this way.
And even if they did, what person that owns a property that leases that property out would not carry insurance? That makes no fucking sense. It makes zero fucking sense. Like you insure like
you do.
Like, you know, like we rent and like I have renter's insurance. I'm sure Paul does. I'm sure TJ does. Like we're not dumb. It's like you cover your shit. And if you own a house, you cover your shit because you know, like, what if I have asshole come and do this? Like I'm not saying that it's right to trash a property. But at the same fucking time, like like if you're smart, you have insurance.
I don't know if you guys have ever been. I don't think so, but I've actually been a quote unquote landlord. I was a landlord for a number of years. Now, I wasn't the person that they dealt with. I had a management company that handled that. But when I decided that I owned this piece of property, that I couldn't sell it, that I didn't want to take the loss for selling it because the market was bad and I wanted to just rent it out, the first thing I did was engage a management company who set me up with insurance so that when tenants would come in and destroy things, I didn't have to come out of pocket for every fucking thing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so it's like you have to assume people live in the house, wear and tear is going to happen.
Oh yeah,
and another thing too, Scotty brought it up. People were in that video that we uploaded where TJ and I were fucking on that landlord. They were saying, don't they have any empathy, dude? Multiple times during that, I remember me saying, at least I'm pretty sure we all had the same sentiment. Like, yeah, dude, it sucks that this guy's shit got fucked up. I can tell it hurt his feelings and stuff, and I feel bad for him. But this is why normal people shouldn't be fucking landlords. Because if you can't deal with this shit, like if you're not wealthy enough to deal with fixing up your house after a tenant fucking leaves out, then what are you doing in the fucking goddamn business?
I had too was I'm like, look, and I've never faced this, so I'm sure there's people I'm sure listening that have. It's like if I was kicked out of a place and I had nowhere to go, I would probably be angry too. And it's like, and I'm not saying it makes it right to destroy things, but I don't know the state of mind that I would be in if I was in that situation. And so it's really easy to say, well, these people are bad, and these people are good. What we really have here is a failure of leadership, that these people are being evicted in the first place. They're in the middle of a pandemic. I know, look, you asking them to leave, whatever, evicting, you're still, if you have nowhere else to go, it doesn't matter.
I mean, in a broader sense, I agree with you, Scotty, but in a broader sense, what we have is a problem of basic necessity in our society. Like a roof should not be something that you can be kicked out of into the streets in this country. There's just at
least not without an alternative.
Right. Yeah. There should be a place for you to go. I mean, yeah, if there's some way to preserve the landlord structure that also ensures that somebody's going to have a fucking decent roof over their head, I'm willing to hear it. But
honestly, in my view, in the short term, it's building high density subsidized housing for people that that people can live in, and it's not like going to break the bank, because there's so many places now where it's like not as unaffordable, but if you look at the people making the lowest income levels, housing it's pretty much out of reach for most people in that level. Like we've got to do something and having a home is going to build a more stable society, because if people have a place that's to call their own, that they can afford, then that's going to only enrich that community.
I just think that step one about getting out from under the fucking problems of a capitalist system is to like decommodify necessities. I don't necessarily think everything needs to be decommodified, but I think the fucking essentials for living, like housing and food and shit like that, should just be decommodified to whatever extent possible. Now, I'm not saying that has to be done in one fell swoop overnight, but like that could be a fucking process.
There's a sense of fairness, like that guy. Let's say that wasn't a fucking completely fake video.
Well, some of the reasons I probably should just go over really quickly some of the reasons why, like the fact that all the windows were actually literally removed from the frames. Like they literally remove the windows and then set them down on the ground and then smash them on the ground. Like, does that really make sense?
Right. And there's paint slung around.
They also noted that some of the apartments still looked like it was under renovation, like even prior to being damaged. It also looked like many of the appliances were undamaged.
It really seemed more to me like someone was renovating an apartment and someone broke in and trashed the shit.
Which seemed kind of silly.
At one point in that video, I remember the dude walks over to his washer and dryer and he's crying, "You do this shit," and he opens it and it looks like the washer and dryer are fine. He's got like those expensive bubble door washer and dryer, and he opens it up and it looks like nobody took a bat to that or fucked that up in any way. So, but let's give him the benefit of the doubt, because nobody knows for sure whether it was fake or not. Give him the benefit of the doubt and say, like, yeah, his shit did get fucked up. Well, there's a sense of fairness when we're talking about moving from the commoditization of housing to a society where you're guaranteed housing. And, that dude, let's say that it is true. He's a guy, he worked hard. He decided to make an investment in this piece of property to augment his income. You can't just, wipe the slate clean with that shit. There's got those people, those normal people, because I was a normal dude too. I'm not some big fucking conglomerate.
It wasn't Paul Industries.
I bought a condo. I lived in that condo for 8 years, and then I moved and I rented the condo for a further 2 years. It was an investment property for me. And so, you can't just say, no, that's no longer yours. It belongs to the people. But there has to be some kind of transition process. It's not going to be something that we're going to be able to snap our fingers with. But there's no way to fix the problem unless we move to a system where people aren't being put in the streets. Because I'll tell you this, when I was looking for a house, I was house shopping. I bought not the condo that I owned, but the house that I lived in before while I was married. Yeah. While I was looking at those houses, it was during the housing crash. It was in 2008 after the housing bubble popped, right? So buyer's market extreme, right? Of course. we would go see these really nice houses. From the outside, they looked beautiful. We would go in and every fucking wall would have "fuck you" written in big black marker, spray paint all over everything, all over the walls and the counters and the, you know what I mean? And it was just like, this is an incredibly common thing. When people are kicked out of their fucking homes, they get mad and they destroy shit. You know what I mean? I don't know what to tell you. If you want to fix the problem, decommodify the housing market. There you go. Then people won't be destroying other people's property because they'll have a place to live. Like, I don't know. I get real frustrated because I know it's not a simple answer. I know I say something like decommodify the housing market, and there's like 90,000 steps that I haven't even thought of to get from A to B. But
right. That's why I would say, like, that has to be a fucking process.
We're not even talking about moving in that direction, though. That's the problem.
Right.
Like,
where it's just like, oh no, the current system's fine. The current system's fine. Like, we at least need to fucking reform what's going on here, man.
Like, even if you think the current system is fine, like any affordability measure, if you look at it and you're trying to be objective and just say like let's look how much people in this bracket of income make. Oh, they don't make enough to afford a house, or they can, it's like you have to work 90 hours to afford a 2-bedroom apartment in every pretty much major metropolitan area of this country, and that's where all the jobs are. They're not in rural areas where people could afford. So it's like, what do you expect people to do?
Section 8 housing is a thing, and it's typically shitty and placed in shitty neighborhoods because, of course, they want to buy the land the cheapest possible and spend as little as possible making the houses. And, you tranche people off into poverty-stricken areas and crime is going to follow. And so these areas are horrible. It would require, like, if we came up with like a 2-tiered system where it's like, if you are unemployed or you only make this much, you're entitled to a decent fucking Section 8 apartment. You know what I mean? And that would require public funding of building nicer complexes for people, that certain units are set aside just for people who are in that position, and enough to house people. And then we could have a 2-tiered market where it's like, if you're in trouble and you don't have enough money to pay your bills, you've got a place you can go, get on your feet. And then if you want to step up and get a house or something, you can rent something, once you make enough money. And go to a landlord. Like, that might be a good transitional step, but it would require a massive influx of funds, which would have to come from something else. Military budget, hint, hint.
But it only lead to a boon economically for the average American who's struggling with all these things. Like, if you really want a solid economy, so like more of a social democratic sort of model is what we need to start moving to. And it's just crazy that people want to go in the opposite direction. Like, and I understand why some of them do, but a lot of them are very impoverished people themselves. And it's like, you're basically arguing that, like you're talking about the wheel. It's like, yeah, the people on top of the wheel, of course they want the wheel to stay on where it is. But like, you don't understand. You're not even on the wheel at that point. You're the fucking thing in the middle of the wheel. Like, you're the hamster running in the wheel.
Right.
You're not getting that part of it. Like, there's no escaping this for you. If the current system is maintained, like, you have literally no chance of doing anything, dude. No. But when you hear talk about that, I already know the criticism is going to be like, well, who's going to pay for it? No, are you saying this? Are you saying that? So it's just like, where do we go?
Okay, so this is a beautiful story. I know that it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter that this is old by the time anyone sees this. This is a classic. This is never going to die. So multiple boats in distress, sinking at Trump boat parade on Lake Travis. Here's what's even better. The hashtag being used to describe this is Dumbkirk.
Dude, okay, damn, man.
Oh, man.
I can't blame him, Dunkirk.
Dude, I gotta tell you, I honestly, for a hashtag to make me laugh involuntarily is such a rare thing. So,
the boat sinking. What is going on here? Like, this is in Texas, right?
That's right. Like, you see, like, there's
sinking, dude. What the fuck, dude?
It's sinking.
Oh my god! In Louisiana, there's so many boats out here, and I've never seen boats do like this constantly. This is insane, dude. I'm not saying it never happens. There's dumbass on the water here too, but like, what? They're not a fucking lake. What are they doing?
It's too weighed down by Trump flags. Their fucking boat is sinking.
Do you know what the problem here is, dude? These motherfuckers don't know how to drive boats, dude. Like, they're driving all into this wake and shit. This other motherfucker almost hit him. Like, what are they doing? Like,
Dude, maybe
how to drive a boat?
maybe the Trump flags weighed
I
down.
know.
The boat.
Yeah, it's like you got like 30. The weight of all your Trump flags is
I
causing
see
your
the
boat.
problem. It's Grandpa, dude. Grandpa's driving the boat. Grandma's going, oh shit.
Dude, TJ, zoom in on that woman's face.
What the fuck is this?
That woman's fucking face, dude. Look at it.
Hold on, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
Enhance.
Enhance.
A little bit, please. Oh shit! It's a giant wave. Dumbass trying to keep the Trump flag flying, and then the driver seems totally clueless. Like, what's going on?
This is the best shit, dude. This is good.
I would love to know the backstory of this fucking of what happened here. This makes no sense.
Let's see. Hold on. Multiple 911 calls have been made regarding boats being in distress, some sinking at the Trump boat parade scheduled for Saturday afternoon on Lake Travis, according to Travis County Sheriff's Office. TCSO confirmed with CBS Austin that multiple boats have been sinking and are in distress. The sheriff's office says calls have been made about boats along the entire route of the parade. Some of the locations include Paradise Cove, Emerald Point, and West Beach. At this time, there is not a confirmed number of boats that are experiencing issues on the lake. At around 2:50 p.m., the TCSO confirmed the calls made about boats being in distress at the parade. They also confirmed that several boats sank in the lake. TCSO responded to multiple calls involving boats in distress during the Trump parade on Lake Travis. Several boats did sink.
Dunkirk, dude.
Oh, what the fuck?
How do you even do that, man?
It wasn't even. It doesn't even like what? Why? What happened?
Is there a video of it, dude?
I don't know. I'll look. I'm gonna look. I'll get back to you guys in a second on this. I'm gonna do some dogged research on this story.
The Trump boat parade.
What the fuck? I'm gonna see what else I can find.
Boat parades, literally, like in the area, like around here. There's a little small fucking village called Madisonville. They have a boat parade every year. They have tons of boat gatherings, and like I've never heard of like several boats sink. And I'm sure there are a bunch of Trump supporters themselves. So like whoever was out there on that lake had no idea how to fucking drive or operate a boat and had no business doing it. Like they clearly just went out there and like. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these people just bought a boat to go to this fucking parade and be like, look how many Trump flags I have. Oh, Grandpa, you make sure to do this? What? Boat station. Oh, my God. Like, there's different shit. Like, I'm not saying I'm some expert on boating, but, like, I would also know not to just go out and not know what the fuck I was doing at all. Like, how do you sink several boats during a parade? I don't know.
I don't know, dude.
I'm going to go look up right now. Like, how do you sink a boat?
I mean,
Maybe they crashed into each other. There's like a bunch of them.
The type of boats that I saw out there, they look like bass boats. My uncle has one of these types of like twin prop bass boats. They are not meant for rough water. Like they're meant for river water and sitting very still in the water while you know what I mean, throw your line in there and catch some bass and shit. Like they're not meant to be tooled around, like, you know. I mean, they're powerful little boats. They can get up and go, but if this you're on a choppy ass fucking lake and just hitting the wakes and shit, trying to show off to other people, you're gonna sink your dumbass little boat. Looks like multiple people did it.
I mean, it says several sank. So I don't know how. I don't know how they fucking. I don't know what these fucking morons did.
There's a number of ways. It can be like stern drives bellows. What happened? The rubber dried and cracked. Water seeped in past the gimbal bearing and poured into the boat because the bottom of the gear case cutout was well below the water line. So look, what I'm reading here. Is
there footage of one of these boats sinking?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay, we got something. Gentlemen, hold on.
Okay.
Holy shit. All right. Okay. All right.
Here's the Freedom Parade.
Freedom.
We is free. We is free.
Look at us. Freedom in Trump Parade. The Trump Boat Parade. Uh-oh.
Oh shit! Oh no!
That dude's trying to fucking just the bucket. It's done, dude. That bucket. Nope.
They're trying to bail.
There's no bailing that out. You're fucked.
No, jump out of the boat. No.
Time to get out of the boat. Time to swim away from the boat. There's no bucketing.
Bail out.
Oh man.
Oh man, I can't believe it. Their fucking boat's sank. What a bunch of morons.
Hope you had good insurance, dumbass.
Oh,
I'm retweeting that. That's too pretty to live.
Oh, Jesus. Man.
Wait. No, fuck that. I'm going to go do the original tweet. What we got here? Yeah. Yeah, retweet that one. Oh, thank you, God.
Yeah, what even happens to their boat? Is it like
I don't know. I think what Paul said is just right. These like boats are just not meant for this choppy water. Like they're meant for like smooth river sailing or something.
I mean, I don't know.
Or it looks like it's in trouble.
I don't know. Maybe they're just like over the weight limit of the boat. Like they just piled too many people into this shitty boat.
There's no way. There's only
I don't know what they've done. I mean, I just don't know. Like they're just stupid fucking people, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I've only heard someone thinking about
boat was probably piloted incorrectly, probably steered into
maintained incorrectly as well.
Let the wake hit broadside instead of at the nose so that it could stay above the water line. Enough water sloshed in that the weight of the people plus the water pushed it lower, and more water sloshed in. Dumbass Trump supporters got buckets as they're standing waist deep in their little boat. Come on, bail it out. And then they had to bail out and watch their little $20,000 investment sink to the bottom of Lake Travis. I fucking love it, dude. You couldn't. If you put this in a script, people would walk out going, ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Clearly Trump haters. Clearly people that just had an agenda. Nothing like this would ever happen. You know what I mean? But here it is, dude. Not just one either. If it had just been one, I'd be like, all right, there was one dumbass in the boat parade. No, multiple boats sank on the same parade.
Several boats.
Oh, dude, I'm looking at an article. There's so many ways to sink a fucking boat. So it's like, yeah, you basically have a bunch of dumbasses that have no business being on a boat.
Yeah, and you know what? Look, by the way, if I was out there on a boat, there's a very good chance that boat would sink because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But that's the reason I'm not out there on a fucking boat.
Right.
So I just want to put that out.
I've ridden on boats.
When you go with someone that is experienced, you get trained. You know what to do. Like, oh, if this happens, you do this. If this happens, like you learn how to maneuver in the waters and stuff. You learn how to guide yourself. You don't just go out like it'll be fun. That's what because if you do, what happens is you end up at the bottom of Lake Travis in Austin.
Certain boats are capable of more, maneuvering and more, wake hitting and
of course, yeah. The bigger the boat and the way it's designed, like there's definitely boats that aren't going to do that necessarily easily.
I had a friend growing up whose dad was a rich kid, or he was a rich kid. His dad was rich. He was like the superintendent of schools of Madeira. And he had a fucking speedboat with two giant fucking chromed out engines on the back of it. And he can do some crazy shit in that. You can take some tight ass turns. You can hit wakes and get air in it. And it's not going to hurt the fucking boat. It's designed that way. It's like a missile,
Oh, yeah.
Boats are like sporting boats. They're not meant to fucking go out on the choppy water and just be like...
Like other things, I doubt they were obeying any like the no wake zone shit. They're probably just going, like you said, going too fast or taking on water. If you have a hose or a pump that's not operating correctly because you didn't set it up right, or you just didn't. Sometimes people unplug shit, they don't realize it.
All right,
water, you have the wake come over the top.
That's an interesting theory and all, but let's be honest about what really sunk these boats. Like God was watching from heaven and just thought it'd be funny to sink some of these boats, dude. Like
I think not.
I sink you, and I sink you.
Like praise Jesus. I mean, I've never felt the presence of the divine before, but now I'm starting to see it. Now I think that I'm becoming a believer because this is just too beautiful to just be a coincidence. This is just too beautiful.
Yeah.
To not be there by design.
I respect
when they said when the creationists came to me and said, look at the sunset. I was like, sunset. I mean, that could happen naturally. Look at the mountain. That's just process of like geology and erosion and plate tectonics and shit like that. But in this, I feel the presence of God.
Well, I'm happy for you, TJ.
Yeah. I mean, I respect your transition but I'm going to go ahead and go with Occam's razor on this and just say that there was a high concentration of dumbasses in the area due to the Trump flag.
That might be true, too. There could just be a bunch of dumb shits because they're Trump supporters. I don't know.
Hey, you know what, though?
That could be true as well.
It's in the end.
Yep. I'm going to go with dumb shits doing dumb shit, winning dumb prizes. But hey, maybe God, maybe it was God. I don't know.
Play stupid games.
Win stupid prizes.
Mm-hmm. All right. That's a pretty decent little grease trap, right?
Grease trap?
Yeah, pretty little grease trap, about 45 minutes.
I got it.
It's over the 30-minute mark, but it's not quite to the hour mark. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel good about that.
See y'all motherfuckers later.
Bye.
With more greasy, trappy goodness.
Deep fat fried. Deep fat